Today's gospel text comes to us from the 15th chapter of the Gospel of Luke. Now all the tax collectors and sinners were coming near to listen to Jesus. And the Pharisees and the scribes were grumbling and saying, "This fellow welcomes sinners and eats with them." So Jesus told them this parable. There was a man who had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, "Father, give me the share of the property that will belong to me." So the man divided his property between them. A few days later, the younger son gathered all that he had and traveled to a distant country. And there he squandered his property in dissolute living. When he had spent everything, a severe famine took place throughout the country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed the pigs. Now he gladly would have filled himself with the pods that the pigs were eating, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hired hands have bread enough to eat and to spare? But here I am dying of hunger. I will get up and go to my father, and I will say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me like one of your hired hands.' So he set off and went to his father. But while he was still far off, the father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran and put his arms around him and kissed him. Then the son said to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son.' But the father said to the slaves, 'Quickly, bring out a robe, the best one, and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. And get the fatted calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.' And they began to celebrate. Now his elder son was in the field. And when he came and approached the house, he heard music and dancing. He called one of the slaves and asked what was going on. And the slave replied, 'Your brother has come, and your father has killed the fatted calf, because he had got him back safe and sound.' Then the older brother became angry and refused to go in. But the father came out and begged to plead and asked him. But he answered his father, 'Listen, for all these years I have worked like a slave for you, and I have never disobeyed your command. Yet you have never given me even a young goat, so that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours come back, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you killed the fatted calf for him.' And the father said to him, 'Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice, because this brother of yours was dead and has come back to life. He was lost and has been found.'" The Gospel of the Lord. Grace, mercy, and peace be with you from God our Father and our risen Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. So the next key that we have to look at in our Lenten reshaping, in our journey through the wilderness of these 40 days, after looking at the company we keep, after examining our energy flow, and after looking at generosity, the next key we have is gratitude. Gratitude. There is a discipline called positive psychology. And positive psychology looks at the different aspects of life and interaction and directs one towards a more positive life. And one of those points in positive psychology is gratitude. Having gratitude in life, being thankful and showing thanks. Now, we're all pretty well-mannered people here, coming from strong upbringings. And in that we know how to say please and thank you. We know how to do and show gratitude for events and situations, things that people do for us and things that we are able to do for people. That's a form of gratitude, and one that I strongly support, mind you, I strongly support. One of the things that I've been doing in raising our daughter is teaching her gratitude, manners. Yet this gratitude that is being brought forward here is much deeper and much more complex than than the thank yous, gracious words, and good acts towards others. Those are important, but we're going deeper now. We're going deeper now into this posture of gratitude. To carry a posture of gratitude, to show deep and meaningful gratitude, is to see everything first and foremost as a gift. To be able to look upon life itself as a gift. To be able to see every breath that we have as a gift from God. To see every intake of breath, every that we have is a gift from God. Everything that we are is a gift from God. To be grateful, to have a posture of gratitude every day, is to see that everything, every breath is a gift, and to be thankful and grateful for all the things that do surround us. To see all that we have and all that we are. The fact that you're able today to listen to this sermon, be it in the pews or be it on the computer, the fact is you are blessed. We are blessed with the very gift of life. We are blessed with the very gift of life. Now, we may not look at that as a blessing, but the fact of the matter, it is. And to have a posture of gratitude is to be grateful and thankful even for the very breath that resides in our lungs. To be thankful for everything that we have. To see our family, our friends, our job, our freedom, as messed up as they may be sometimes, as a blessing. To be thankful for them. To be thankful for the ones who have given us this life. I had the opportunity last week to speak briefly at an event, and we were talking about the body and the importance of the body, and realizing that this body that we have been given, this life that we have been given, was given to us by someone else. We did not choose it. We did not ask for it. We did not craft it. Someone else crafted it for us. So we really are the stewards of a gift that someone else has given to us. And therefore, because we are stewards of that gift, we are grateful for that gift. With all of its things, all of its highs and all of its lows, we are still grateful for that gift. And not to let, now stay with me here, folks, this is really important, not to let instances, circumstances, or people overshadow that immense gift. Not to let our gratitude, first and foremost, be drugged down by pinpoint circumstances. You see, it can be so easy to slip into the thinking that one thing or this thing or that thing will ruin my day. This event will haunt me. This circumstance will taint the whole situation. How easy it is for us to do that. I wake up in the morning and I stub my toe getting out of bed, and my day is ruined. We've done that, haven't we? Or having a difficult interaction with someone, hard words, having to or have the truth spoken to us, and we think, well, that just ruins everything. No, it really doesn't. Those are pinpoint circumstances, but we still are very grateful. Yes, life throws us curves, my brothers and sisters. Yes, life has its bumps. Some of them are small and some of them are big. And yet, there is still life. And yet, there is still life. And there is the promise from the crucified and risen Savior that there is also life on the other side of death. That death is not the end. That we live in this world and this isn't all there is. This isn't the best it's going to be. The promises we have from God are that the best we have to be are going to be so much better, so much bigger than what we have now. And to live in a posture of gratitude. To live in a posture of gratitude is to be able to see that every day. Gratitude is not taking anything for granted. Anything. Gratitude is not begrudging the now, the here, for the will or the better, the next or the other. You know, I've done ministry in just about every setting in the continental United States. Not in every city now, in every setting. Small town, small city, big city, farm community, high economies, low economies. I've had the opportunity in my ministry at some point or another. And every opportunity I've had, in every place I've been, The posture is always, the grass is greener somewhere else. Life would be better if I lived in this port. I'm a country person. I want to get back to the country. It'd be easier if I was out there, or be easier if we had a better economy, or what have you. And yeah, there are some things that would make life easier. But one of the things that I've realized in my travels and the places that God has taken me is that the grass isn't greener somewhere else. The grass is brown everywhere. But the grass is also green and lush everywhere. The lack of gratitude is what we see when we look to the other and not understanding the blessings that we have in ourselves. And we see that today in the parable of the prodigal son. The lack of gratitude. And it's a metaphor, really, for our own spiritual abyss, my brothers and sisters. Clearly, the story tells us that this is a wealthy setting. That this family is a rather wealthy family. I mean, we hear cattle, we hear slaves, we hear divided property. This makes the setting pretty wealthy. This means that this family has a good amount of resources. And in the metaphor that we have now, let's take a look. Let's take stock at ourselves. Let's take stock at ourselves and say, what of the many blessings and resources do we have? Yes, maybe we are not in that 1% that drives the Porsches and has the 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 houses. We have running water, we have heat, we have a roof over our head, we have breath, we live in a country of freedom. Now, some of those things may not be as adequate as others, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we're all on a level playing field, but what I am saying is that as we look into this metaphor, we have to be careful. We have to be careful now not to think that we don't have, because we do. Because we do. We don't want to compare our lives with those who have more. That's not gratitude. That's envy. So this is a wealthy setting. 2 sons. In their own way, neither of them show gratitude for their station. The first one is so ungrateful towards his father that he casts his father to death. That's exactly what he says. Give me what is mine. The property is divided only when the father dies. But the younger son says, you know what, I don't want you to be alive anymore, so I want you to give me everything that belongs to me. Divide your property now as if you were dead. Give me what is mine, which is clearly a lot by the way the story goes. He has no gratitude for what he has. He has no gratitude for the life he's living in now. All he does is want to look out into the distance. This place is terrible. I want to go over there. I want to go do what's going on over there because that looks better than what's going on here, because the boy has no gratitude for what is actually going on here. He is not seeing the grace of the moment, only the possibility of what is to come. And he threw away a wonderful life. He threw away a wonderful life, ultimately leading to depravity. And then poverty, to which a Jew is now serving pigs. And the Jew will actually be willing to eat what the pigs are eating. That's how far he has fallen, because he lacked the gratitude to see where he was. This never would have come to be if that younger son would have had any gratitude for the immense blessings and riches that his father had already poured into him. What had already been given to him, the love that had been given to him. If he had seen that in his life, then he would have stayed, but he threw it all away, if you will, for something better. Only that better was far worse, all because he had no gratitude for where he was. His life was not a life filled with gratitude, and the lack of gratitude led him away from his father. The second son now, let us not confuse the fact the second son is no better than the first. The second son is no better than the first. He is just as ungrateful to his father, only ungrateful in a different way. His life was not filled with gratitude either. He was not looking at his life as a gift. He did not see his life as a blessing, but a trial to get through. He did not see his work, his commitment to the Father, as a blessing. He saw it as a trial. He had no gratitude for the love that his father had given, or the immense grace his father showed his brother. What does he say? He says, I've worked for you. I've slaved for you. I've served you. That's the give to get stuff that we talked about last week. That's payment for services rendered. There's no gladness, there's no gratitude in the gift that the Father is giving. He is so filled with jealousy and rage and envy and hurt and hatred that he could not see that his life was one of great blessing. He let what others had, his brother particularly, cloud his vision for his own life. And by golly, this story is so powerful because we inevitably fall into it. You know, that older brother ultimately wouldn't come into the celebration. Here is the father. Here is the one who runs the household, throwing this party. And his older son wouldn't come in. Now let's think about this from a metaphorical point of view here now, my brothers and sisters. Let's think about this. Let's see the Father as God, and we are one of the two brothers. This story is so powerful because we inevitably fall into one of the two brothers. Usually the second one. The envy or jealousy of others who have squandered God, who have squandered the grace, and then they want to come back begging. We have fought. We have been faithful. We are the ones who are getting up early on Sunday morning. We are the ones who are coming to meetings. We are the ones who are standing out in the cold to fix the building. We are the ones to do this. We are the ones who deserve to have more. We have the inside track, so grace should be withheld from others. Or perhaps this whole story of faith is seen as torture. Perhaps this whole journey is just the right thing to do in order to get the reward. That's the lack of gratitude. We know some who have left. They see life as better elsewhere, believing that they have or what they get or what they're doing is from them. Not having the gratitude of what God has gifted to all of us. See, the reason it is important for us to be careful is that even though we are so close, even though we are so connected, we are here because we too have received such amazing grace. We have every reason to be grateful for what God has done for us. And if we have any question about that, all we have to do is lift our eyes to the cross. If we have any question about how grateful we should be for the life that God has given to us, all we have to do is look to the cross. Look to the cross. We are here because we receive such amazing grace. The story that Jesus tells today is the story pointing the believer, the listener, to the point that all life is a gift. To all life as a gift. And that we as believers are to see everything as a gift and be grateful on the base, the foundation. To be grateful at the foundation. Yes, we work hard. Yes, we are committed. Some of you have been committed to this community of faith for now 90 years. And we can say to God, you know what? I have served you and I have worked for you and I have given everything to you. And here comes this scoundrel over here who just wants to roll in. We've seen their name in the paper. We know what they do. We know who they are. Rather than being grateful for the very blessing of life itself. That is the importance of gratitude. That is the importance of gratitude as we reshape ourselves in Lent. As we move closer to God, to reshape ourselves in this journey is to embrace a more intense posture of gratitude. At the base. To be able to look around and see everything that we have, even if it's a little, as a gift. And to be grateful for it. Gratitude helps us to open our vision, to widen our view of life, the life that we live today. It helps us to encounter what we have as gifts that we have received. To not take for granted, to not allow life circumstances or words or people or moments to overshadow the amount of grace that has been poured on us. Gratitude sees those gifts. Gratitude has the ability to see all the gifts and celebrates them, especially when the bumps come. To be grateful for all things, in all places, and to see one who pours that grace on us as God. To be more grateful to God for who we are and what we have, than to give energy and emotion to that which drags us down. There is a posture of gratitude. To say that in all the things that are going to happen in my day, all the blessings, I'm going to be grateful for them. And that one thing over there, I'm not going to let that one thing take my gratitude away. My gratitude is more than that one circumstance. My gratitude is more than that flat tire. My gratitude is more than the hot water running out in the shower. My gratitude is more than the spilled coffee. My gratitude is more than that idiot who calls me a Jesus freak or whatever. My gratitude is more. To reshape ourselves in Lent is to have our gratitude stored up. To be able to see all that God has done for us. To keep that grace of the cross in front of us. To keep the grace of the crucifixion and resurrection closer to us than the pain and struggle and the hurt and the suffering. The more we are grateful for, the more strength we have to get through the bumps, over the hurdles, to climb out of the valleys. Our map for week 4 of Lent is to examine our storehouse of gratitude. How full is it? Are we able to see everything from an eye of gratitude? Be gracious. Keep the grace of the cross in front of you. See through the gift of God that the bumps are bumps. God's grace and God's presence is eternal. And that promise alone is enough to have more gratitude than anything that life can throw at us. May you be blessed this day, my brothers and sisters. Amen.